That clock's fast. We have about a minute, right? What is this? This is you? I now reconvene the regular meeting of the Board of Education at 6 p.m. with Bridge, Cruz, Monroe, Naw, and Shaw present. Before we begin, please silence all electronic devices and note that these proceedings are being recorded. Pat?
The board met in closed session from 4:30 p.m. to 5:19 p.m. regarding conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, 2 cases, student discipline matters, conference with labor negotiators, ACT and CSEA, public employee appointment, deputy superintendent and assistant superintendent, CIIS, public employee discipline dismissal release, and public employee performance evaluation superintendent.
Thank you, Pat. Oh, go ahead.
Pursuant to Education Code 44954, authorize the superintendent or his designee to issue a notice of release to a certificated employee identified by employee number 29148 with a vote of 5-0 with Bridge, Cruz, Monroe, Naw, and Shaw voting yes. Appointed Dr. Grace Park to Deputy Superintendent effective July 1, 2024 by a vote of 5-0 with Bridge, Cruz, Monroe, Naw, and Shaw voting yes. And appointed Dr. Tracy Freed to Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction, Innovation, and Support effective July 1, 2024 by a vote of 5-0 with Bridge, Cruz, Monroe, Naw, and Shaw voting yes. No further action was taken, which requires public disclosure.
Thank you, Pat. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Nick Wilson. Oh, 1 second, sorry. Who first? Okay, we're going to do the pledge. Go ahead, Nick.
Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, Dr. Yeah. Dr. Tracy Freed? Yeah, and then Dr. Park.
If I may have Dr. Tracy Freed please come to the stand.
Good evening, President Shaw, Dr. Enfield, Vice President Monroe, members of the board. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I was blessed to begin my career here 24 years ago in Chino as a teacher, became an assistant principal, and am going to be completing my 6th year at the district office. And I'm very humbled and yet excited for this opportunity to serve our students, our staff, and community in this new role. And I look forward to continuing the great work in our CIIS division. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. We appreciate you. Dr. Park?
President Shaw, members of the board, and Superintendent Enfield, thank you. Thank you for this incredible opportunity to be able to continue to serve in our school district. As a resident within Chino Valley and having had kids benefited from the outstanding education from our staff and our schools, it is with great excitement, humility, and pride that I will be able to continue to give back to an outstanding school district. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Enfield.
Yeah, I want to make a few comments. First, I want to thank the Board of Education for approving these appointments tonight. There's also some other information I want to share with the public so everybody's clear regarding these appointments. First of all, the positions do not take effect until July 1st, 2024 for the 24-25 school year. Secondly, I have a member of my cabinet who will be retiring, has not announced it yet, but that will be coming shortly, and so it will not be adding a new position, it will just be a restructuring. When I bring the contracts forward, you will see there will be a savings to the district regarding these, the restructuring of these positions in the cabinet level. And then I know people may be asking, why did you guys bring it forward tonight? The deal is when we appointed Dr. Tracy Freed, she's the Director of Assessment and Instructional Technology, we have to fly that position so we can begin flying that position. We'll be lucky to be able to bring that position to the board to fill by April 18th. If we bring it forward, that position for April 18th, again, we're always looking at maybe if it's an inside applicant who is appointed to that position, then that will open up another position that we would have to then fly at that point, and that would probably take another month and take us till like June 1st. And those are if everything is on time and moving forward. And so we brought it forward tonight so that all the dominoes, potentially if they need to fall, that we have everybody in position. So when we start the school year for July 1st, 2024-25, everybody is in place, as many positions as we can fill. So we're just looking at, from an HR perspective, that's why it was brought forward tonight. So again, I want to thank the board.
Thank you, Dr. Enfield. Thank you for providing transparency to the community on the decisions that you make, and you definitely have the board's support, so thank you. We're now on to comments from our student representative, Chloe.
Good evening. Good evening, Board President Shaw, members of the board, Superintendent Enfield, and distinguished guests. Ruben S. Ayala High School is holding Future Bulldog Night on March 11th for the for the incoming freshman class at 5 p.m. Be sure to attend for club performances, sports booths, and a mock rally. Chino Hills High School recently held their Future Husky Night and had a successful winter formal. Next month, they are looking forward to their last rally of the school year. The Teen Advisory Board of Chino Hills is holding a hygiene drive to support the CVUSD Community Care Closet on March 9th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Chino Hills Community Center, so I highly encourage you all to come and support our community. Lastly, I again wanted to thank our wonderful teachers for everything they do for their students. Our education would quite literally be impossible without your dedication. Thank you for creating a positive and encouraging environment that supports all the students and motivates them to pursue their learning. Every CVUSD student appreciates how much the teachers dedicate to their classes and to supporting their students in and out of the classroom. I hope that the district will be able to figure out a deal that gives our amazing teachers what they deserve. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to call back the meeting to order. We're going to take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, you got to go. Where's that? Right down here out this door.
When all the board members return, we will return to the regular board. This is your warning. If you continue to disrupt the meeting, everybody will leave the meeting, and you'll have to come in one by one. If you're representing our teachers, this is not the correct behavior. Embarrassing. We'll wait for John.
Yeah, wait for Mr. Monroe.
Just imagine if the students went into your classroom and did that. Bad. Yeah, example. You guys are adults. This is a public meeting. Display proper behavior. Warning number 2. John went to the restroom.
I'd like to say something.
Hold on, Mr. Cruz. We have to wait for...
Okay.
Okay, here he is.
He's coming.
He's coming.
Are you waiting for me?
Yeah.
Oh. You're going to continue?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll now reconvene the regular Board of Education meeting. Mr. Cruz, you said you wanted to say something, and according to Ed Code 35010, I will go ahead and allow that.
You know, parents and colleagues, this situation is more complicated than the rumors that we're hearing. I can assure parents that the district has made multiple good faith efforts to give raise. One day negotiation this year, proposal going back and forth, and then it stopped. Last semester, 2 canceled. The district is serious about fruitful negotiation. So let's come to an agreement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. And I thank you for your comments and your clarity and transparency, because unfortunately there is a lot of lies in the community. This board is dedicated to make sure our teachers are paid right. You've already been warned, and I have already proved to you in last meetings, if you want to misbehave, we will all escort ourselves out in the rain, and then you can come back in when it's quiet. Everybody will get a chance to say something. That's how a board meeting is ran. Just like classrooms, I expect order. Yes. I mean, keep doing it. Honestly, it's really embarrassing. There's parents in here, and your behavior is only showing them with the declining enrollment that they should pull their kids out with this behavior. So keep doing it, please, because we have a lot of great teachers that are being hurt by your behavior. Knock it off. Stand up and start talking so you can remove yourselves. How about that? You're so bold, stand up, remove yourselves for talking and disrupting a meeting. This is a government meeting, and if you're going to talk, stand up and do it, and then you may leave. I'm fair. You want to say something? Stand up and do it now. Okay. Thank you. And now you may remove yourself. Have fun. Anybody else before we proceed? Stand up and say it. That's what I thought. Keep doing it, because honestly, I love the fact that this is transparency right now. Okay, we have ACT Brenda Walker, please. If she's not here, anybody? If you're going to yell out, stand up and do it and escort yourself out. There's no yelling in a meeting.
Hello.
Is the mic not working?
Hello.
Okay.
It works. Hi, I'm Stephen Fraser. I'm the organizing chair for Associated Chino Teachers. And as you know, our president, Brenda Walker, unfortunately is not able to be here tonight. She wants me again to extend thanks to all of the support that we've been receiving from our Chino educators and the solidarity that members are showing by being here tonight. The crowd of educators and our supporters that you see packing this auditorium are among hundreds of people that gathered at the park earlier to rally and then march to this meeting. We're here tonight because this board and your negotiations team have a total lack of response to reasonable and important bargaining proposals brought forth by ACT. We did this after nearly a year of good faith bargaining, and now, unfortunately, we must declare impasse. Sadly, so far, the district has shown little interest in addressing our issues. Your priorities are wrong. You pour money into the cabinet and upper administration, and yet you say you have nothing for the teachers. We are hopeful that the district will change its course. We have a session with the state mediator scheduled for April 16th. That is an opportunity to reach an agreement. One that is fair, one that is competitive, and one that prioritizes students with additional needs. We urge you to take advantage of this opportunity to settle our contract. You have it in your power to do so. I want you to look at the people in this room and the show of solidarity tonight. We are Associated Chino teachers. We'd rather be home tonight grading papers, planning lessons, maybe trying to have some time with our families. But it's important that we're here. It's important that the board understand that we're united in standing up for our rights, for our student rights, and just for what's right. We're here because we want to avoid having to escalate our actions. We do not want a strike. When each of you ran for office in one form or another, you promised that you would improve Chino Valley Unified School District to help us be the best school district possible. Dragging out these negotiations and failing to respond to our fair proposals isn't making things better. You're making things worse. We urge the board to change course and put this behind us and begin collaborating with us for the success of every Chino Valley student. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Danny Hernandez from CSEA. Okay. Emily Lau from Champ.
Good evening, President Shaw, school board members, Dr. Enfield, cabinet, and Chino Valley community. Ask any educator what the favorite part of their job is, and they'll likely tell you that being able to watch others succeed is a huge part of their job, and it's very fulfilling. That's why I'm so happy to congratulate the staff at Woodcrest Junior High for being honored as California Distinguished School. Hearing the news of our new appointees also is something to celebrate. I'm thrilled to congratulate Dr. Tracy Freed and Dr. Grace Park. The continuity they will provide in their new roles is going to allow CVUSD to continue the institutional knowledge and forward thinking of our executive cabinet. Dr. Freed, your dedication and commitment to excellence, combined with your kind and supportive personality, sets you apart. It's no surprise that you have been chosen to guide our community as a new assistant superintendent. Dr. Grace Park, please forgive me, but I'm going to date us a little bit. I first met Dr. Park when she became an assistant principal at Lytle Elementary School many years ago. I then had the privilege of working with her as a teacher when she was the principal at Cal Aero. I know firsthand what an amazing professional she is. I truly believe that Dr. Park can move mountains. Her many accomplishments speak for themselves, and her leadership has brought positive change and growth in our district. Dr. Park has inspired me and so many others to strive for excellence. I know that I am a better educator and I was a better teacher for having worked with her. Congratulations to Tracy Freed and Grace Park. Keep moving mountains.
Thank you. We are now at comments from the audience on items not on the agenda. Pat, are there any requests to speak?
36 on non-agenda items.
Thank you, Pat. Board Bylaw 9323, meeting conduct, establishes public comment guidelines. Instructions for public comment are available by the speaker cards. Turn your cards into security staff. Speakers will be called in the order that the request was received. Please listen for your name and line up behind the podium in the order your name was called. Any comments on the agenda items will be accepted during consideration of that item. If you use this time to comment on an agenda item instead of a non-agenda item, you will be directed to the correct time on the agenda and your speaker card will be placed at the end. Once the recording secretary announces the first name, further speaker cards will not be accepted. Mr. Cruz, can you please explain the public comment guidelines?
Speakers, you have 3 minutes to address the board. You cannot donate your time. If you read in behalf on an absent person, that will be considered your time. Begin comments at the green light. The yellow light means you have 30 seconds left. The red light means your time is over. Please refrain from making comments while speakers are at the podium. Board Policy 1312.1 outlines the procedure for complaints against an employee. Once the recording secretary announces the first name, speakers' cards will no longer be accepted. And lastly, speakers may not approach the dais at any time the board is in session. Please give any materials you wish distributed to the board to the recording secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. And just to clean up a little bit of this, Pat, we had over 30 speakers, so we're going to go to 1 minute per our board bylaws. And Dr. Enfield will be taking record of the time. When you have 10 seconds, he's going to raise his hand and let you know that you're about 10 seconds left so you can finish your whatever your comments would be.
The first speaker is Bobby Omari, followed by S. Omari, followed by Jacqueline Cortez.
Good evening. Last week, I attended the Artificial Intelligence K-12 Deeper Learning Summit hosted by Anaheim Union High School District, UC Irvine, and Google for Education. With over 630 guests and representatives from 110 school districts in attendance, educators, students, and leaders learned about and collaborated about AI's rapidly evolving role in education. I'm disappointed CVUSD had no presence because the discussions with experts and educators were invaluable. Participants discussed the importance and responsible governance in partnership with the local community. The engagement from administrators, educators, and students was palpable, and the contrast between our district and others couldn't have been more stark. Districts nationwide are prioritizing AI because of its immediate implications and opportunities that will change the paradigm of education with or without us. CVUSD continues to waste time, money, and resources on politics and culture wars at the expense of innovation and progress, further accelerating the student achievement.
Time is up.
S. Omari, followed by Jacqueline Cortez, followed by Marisol de Paula.
Before I begin, I just want to make sure it's me. Can you read the name that's written on the public comment card, please?
Sarah.
Thank you.
Sarah Omari.
All right, I'm reading on behalf of a teacher that couldn't be here tonight. Good evening, board members, Dr. Enfield, and the cabinet. I'm a longtime veteran teacher for Chino. I would like to address our current board president, Shaw's attacks on our educators on her official CVUSD board member social media platform. Mrs. Shaw has continuously posted pictures and made comments referring to us as pedophiles, groomers, political cartel, which means she's referring to us as murderers and drug dealers, and currently the educational mafia. She frequently posts on her stories attacks on the California Teachers Association and ACT, including pictures of our board president. Mrs. Shaw's recent posts have also included pictures of our Chino educators, and she has a quote that says, "Defund the unions," and she has tags to anti-union activists. So is Ms. Shaw calling to defund all unions, including the police union? Imagine if the chief of police posted in regards to defund the police. Why would any educator choose to remain in a district who has the lowest paid salaries and a board president whose only goal is to defund us?
Jacqueline Cortez, followed by Marisol de Paula, followed by Nick Wilson.
If you can read, write, or add, you probably have a teacher to thank for that. Yet we are one of the most underpaid while being some of the most educated. The state budget package included 8.22% for COLA, and no, Ms. Shaw, COLA is not a type of drink, although if it was, you would probably try to get reimbursed for it. COLA stands for cost of living adjustment. Basically, the district was given money to increase our salary, and yet here we are. Ms. Shaw stated we only received 5.44%. Why did the district then offer us less? Lies. If there is no money, why does our superintendent make more money than the President of the United States? Why was Ms. Shaw trying to give herself a raise and reimburse herself? That is why the union has not moved its position. This community should be very concerned about how badly our negotiations have been going. Don't be surprised when your kids don't have teachers next year. You can blame Shaw.
Marisol de Paolo, followed by Nick Wilson, followed by Madelle McIntyre.
Good evening, Chino community. My husband and I have been educators for Chino for over 27 years. Both of us have master's degrees and multiple credentials. We moved to Eastville 20 years ago. If we would have applied to Corona Norco at that time, we would have potentially earned over $1 million more in combined income than we have made here in Chino. That would have added an additional $2,000 to $3,000 to our retirements for the rest of our lives. That is how badly Chino's pay scale has fallen short to surrounding districts. Yes, we have declining enrollment. Well, the entire state has declining enrollment, but other districts manage to pay their educators a competitive salary. Surrounding districts have longevity bonuses to keep their veteran teachers. Chino only offers those incentives to their administrators, not to their teachers. Chino does not value its veteran educators or any educators at this point. Any of us, including those at the end of our careers, can easily move to a neighboring district and only take 10 of our years, and we would
Time
still...
is up.
Nick Wilson, followed by Modell McIntyre, followed by Elder Cashley.
Good evening. I was going to say something completely different, but after tonight, I just wanted to actually change my message and say that it's really sad to see the division here It is not indicative or representative of our community because we voted you in, Sonja Shaw, and the attacks that you are taking are really unfortunate. I'm speaking still.
Let
you
him
guys.
speak.
You know,
It's his time.
This is
Nick, pause the time. If you guys are going to do this, you're more than welcome to do it. Stand up and leave. Escort yourself out. Nobody spoke during the time that the first 4 speakers. This is absolutely rude. I will not tolerate it. This board will not tolerate it, and you will leave. So if you want to be brave and bold enough, stop sitting in your seat and talking and stand up and do it and get out of here. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, when I was a police officer, I remember we were furloughed. We had to work 12 and 16-hour shifts while partners of mine were being shot at. And we never, ever, no matter how many days away from our families, no matter how tired and worn out we were, no matter bricks and bottles were thrown at us, we never acted like this. Number one. Number two.
Time is up.
Time's up, Nick.
Modell McIntyre, followed by Elder Chasley, followed by Christy Hurst. Modell McIntyre, Elder Chasley, followed by Christy Hurst.
Good evening. My name is Modell McIntyre, and I'm a school psychologist for the district, currently working at Don Lugo High School. In the 24 years that I've worked for the district, I'm appalled at the climate of total disrespect permeated by downtown administrators and the Board of Education. It troubles me that teachers, school psychologists, crisis intervention counselors, speech pathologists, nurses, and staff work long hours without adequate compensation. Most of my colleagues take work home, are forced to work evenings and weekends, never take lunch, but rather work over their computers. The life of a school psychologist in today's toxic environment is a roadmap to burnout and stress. We are constantly called upon to provide supports to students and staff, complete threat assessments, counsel troubled youth, and do extensive psychoeducational evaluations that require writing lengthy, defensible reports that take hours to write. With high caseloads,
Elder Clashy, followed by Christy Hurst, followed by Robert Davis.
Good evening. I'd like you to remember this number, 3,162. 3,162. A beginning certificated teacher in this school district makes $56,250 after deductions for CalSTRS, that's a retirement program that's required, Medicare, and a very large amount for insurance. That is the take-home pay of a teacher for 12 months. It is below the MAGA poverty line in the county of San Bernardino. I think you need to know that.
Christy Hurst, Robert Davis, followed by Daniel Spellman.
There is no world where paying our teachers $10,000 to $30,000 less than surrounding districts is good for our community. You say you can't afford to pay them, but offer no concrete proof of why. The budget reflects 8.22% COLA this year, yet you are only offering teachers 3.25%. Why are other surrounding districts able to pay such higher wages? Are you lying about the budget, mismanaging money? On top of this all, we have a board majority intent on using our community to advance their own personal political crusades. We have a board president who will do anything to remain in the spotlight she so craves. A board president being directed by national and local organizations who are anti-union. Many board members who attend a church where the pastor prays for the dismantling of the teachers' union. A board president who publicly calls to defund the union. Nothing matters in a school district if you don't have high-quality teachers in classrooms. I am a parent and a taxpayer, and I want you to...
Time is up.
Robert Davis, followed by Daniel Spellman, followed by Christy Kay.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank Mr. Dahlstrom and Mr. Black for making their way to Ayala High School to help us resolve some issues that I had spoke about at a previous meeting. Recently, the Ayala High School Choir Program held a benefit concert where our students decided to donate money to City of Hope, which is a cancer research and treatment organization. And through their tremendous work and some dedication by our community members and staff members, we were able to donate over $20,000. That's a product of the combination of incredible work by students and by staff members. We have some amazing people within this community, including teachers within this district, helping students reach their fullest potential academically, athletically, and beyond. You can find that through the fact that we're some of the highest scoring schools in the community, in the county. You can find that through some of the things that we do beyond that, including nationally ranked performing arts organizations. That happens because of the teachers, and I want to make sure that we are recognized for that. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Daniel Spellman, and I teach at Ayala High School. First off, I would like to thank the community and the board members for saying such nice things about our artwork within the district art show. For me, I've been part of this district for about 8 to 7 years, and it's my hope within the next 30 years, hopefully by the end of my career, that we can build a new digital pathway for the digital arts program. The only fear that I have, though, is we don't have enough pay to keep teachers here. It is a very big issue. And whether if I'm recognized, whether if I'm known after I leave this district one day, I hope that we can build a community, and I hope that we can actually make big changes. We need your support. We need to actually do things and make actual changes. Thank you.
Christy Kay, followed by Jennifer Puente, followed by Glory Ciccarelli.
Dear Board and CVUSD community, disclaimer, I'm using Taylor Swift as a primary source. I'd like to apologize for not setting healthy boundaries, for not speaking up, and for not settling, and for settling for less than my worth. We've been in a 21-year toxic relationship. I know, it's so sad to think about the good times, when you've praised what we've done to make you, the district, look great. I was thinking you could be trusted, but shame on me. You with your words, like knives and swords and weapons that you use against me, calling me insults like groomer and accusing me of non-existent agendas. Why you gotta be so mean? We put our hearts, souls, sweat, and blood into this job. Did you think we'd be fine? Take a look at what you've done. We are done with this one-sided relationship. You say you're sorry just for show, then accuse us of greed. Treat or pay us what we deserve, or this will be the end of a teaching era for many.
Followed by Glory Ciccarelli, followed by Darlene. Jennifer Puente, followed by Glory Ciccarelli, followed by Darlene.
I'm Jennifer Puente. I'm a 33-year teaching veteran at Ayala High School. Every day, our staff and students are reminded of the 3 Bs, and I thought it might serve as a good place to address the current relationship our teachers union has with the district. The first B is be respectful. I value that from my students, and I expect it in my classroom. However, it seems as if this district thinks that they are exempt. We've been offered a 3-point-something raise. How is that a show of respect to the years, hours, and experience that your teachers have? The second B is be responsible. This community entrusts their most precious commodity to our care, and we accept that job. Yet failing to offer teachers a competitive wage is incredibly irresponsible of this district. Be safe, the final B. I don't feel safe in this district. I don't feel safe that my own daughter will be secure in providing for herself and a family one day, a teacher at Canyon Hills. Yet I do feel safe in saying that I wouldn't doubt any young teacher's decision.
Glory Ciccarelli, followed by Darlene, followed by Michaela Estrada.
First of all, happy Women's History Month to all the amazing queens out there who refuse to prop up the patriarchy or tarnish their crowns behind those that do. Also, thank you to all of you, the board, for hearing my concerns over the past almost year and saying at least one thing about Black history and encouraging the rest of the district to do so as well. Oh yeah, you guys didn't do any of that. Not one bit of it. But you know who did? The teachers behind me. There are kids in this district who now know that Rosa Parks was not, in fact, the first to sit down on the bus, but they learned that fact in spite of you. If actions speak louder than words, how much more louder do you need it to get that this board does not care about marginalized kids and the amazing people that teach them? Thank you.
Darlene, followed by Michaela Estrada, followed by Rachel Welch.
I'm Darlene Berg. As a parent of 2 in the district, I am not concerned about the quality of education the students are receiving from these teachers, but I am concerned about the quantity of teachers that are leaving and that will not get back. We've heard from numerous parents about not having teachers for their child's classrooms, and my child has experienced this at Canyon Hills Junior High with several long-term substitutes in the same science class. There's no consistency, and it's not fair to the students. Our teachers deserve to be paid. I feel like this problem that you're talking about wouldn't happen if we just paid them. Teachers are no different than you or I when it comes to wanting to get paid for the work they do. These teachers are well-credentialed, educated, many voluntarily continuing their education. They work tirelessly, dedicating their lives to our children, often well beyond their regular working hours. They're not asking for anything more than comparable pay to the surrounding district counterparts. If you pride yourself on working with a great district, pay them. They are what makes this district great.
Michaela Estrada, followed by Rachel Welches, followed by Max Ibarra.
I'm here today as a teacher in this district, but also a parent. I had 2 kids in this district, one general ed and one special ed, who should have been placed in an autism specialized program. But due to the district's lack of special education resources, he was misplaced into a different special education classroom 25 minutes from my home. Thankfully, his teacher worked tirelessly, and he was successful at her hand, not the district's. Fast forward 2 years, and I pulled my son from the district, and he is now in a correct special education TK placement, and all his needs are met. And the district administrators actually care about my son and not just the numbers. He is thriving in social academic areas. Why are we overworking our teachers and underserving our students? I will never move back to this area because while our SPED educators are absolutely wonderful and I fully trust them, our district's lack for respect does not support our special education programs, the most vulnerable students of all. Start being respectful, responsible, and safe to your educators.
Rachel Welch, followed by Max Ibarra, followed by Manute Gregorian.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Welches, and I'm proud to currently serve as a 4th grade teacher at Cal Aero Preserve Academy. With 24 years of dedicated service in the Chino Valley Unified School District, I am deeply invested in our community. Not only am I a longstanding educator, but I am also a homeowner in the Preserve community and a parent of a Cal Aero student. The perception among my fellow colleagues, including those who educate future teachers in credential programs at local universities, is that our district does not prioritize or value its teachers. While I understand that the board may not bear sole responsibility for all of these past issues, the current lack of support for the union and the overall morale crisis cannot be ignored. As you know, educators serve as the backbone of our educational system, and it is profoundly disheartening to feel undervalued after dedicating over 2 decades of service to this district. I implore the board to prioritize fair compensation, advocating for a living wage increase of 10%. This includes recognition of the vital contributions made by our underpaid classified staff.
Max Ibarra, followed by Manute Gregorian, followed by Oscar Avila.
I'm a student. Can I start?
I'm a student in CVUSD and I support ACT. I do this because I can see the crucial role that teachers play in our students' lives. Tonight, I'm hearing you're making work in this district a living hell for the people actually doing the work. We would not have a functioning education system without our teachers, so they deserve to be compensated fairly. I would not be the person I am today without the teachers that have shaped my academic career. How is it that we can afford to give several district officials raises but still allow the bargaining to go to an impasse? Surrounding districts give their educators better salary, benefits, and support. It is a disgrace what CVUSD offers our teachers. Surrounding districts also have better teacher retention. Our teachers are the teachers union that you attack. The district refuses to pay its teachers, so we are paying the price. Ms. Shaw, if your goal was to make this school board even more of an embarrassment that Cruz and Naw had, you should pat yourself on the back. You have cost this district thousands with your divisive policies and yet have crafted the lie that the district isn't spending a dime. You post anti-union rhetoric on your official social media account and continue your agenda opposing parents against teachers and students. You ran on a platform of supporting students and yet you are dedicated to doing the exact opposite.
Time is up.
You cannot possibly put...
Manu Gregorian, followed by Oscar Avila, followed by J.C. Carrillo.
Hello, everybody. Hello, board. My name is Manu Gregorian. First, I want to say we love all our teachers. Teachers are a very valuable part of our families. We trust our children with our teachers, and we want our teachers to get paid, but this is not the way to behave, okay? Honestly, I have 4 daughters in LAUSD, and I don't want my children to have disrespectful tendencies. And if one person is speaking and you guys booing and eyeing, that's not respectful. I want to talk about Protect Kids California. This initiative will protect our children from boys entering to women's spaces, girls' spaces. It will stop from injecting our children with hormone blockers, puberty blockers, and it will also notify parental notification if our children change their names. Please, board and the union, come to an agreement. These teachers need to get paid. It's up to the board and...
Time is up.
Oscar Avila, followed by J.C. Carrillo, followed by Victoria Garibay.
Stand up and say boo and escort yourself out, because I saw you and that's your first warning. I have good eyes. I'm a mother. Remember that.
Okay, good evening, President Shaw, Mr. Enfield, board. These teachers are, you know, my mother's an educator, she's been an educator, so I support them 100%. I mean, I want them to get the raise. I mean, I don't know what's fair, but I do know that the union is pushing districts against each other. They are telling districts they got this much, you should get this much. They're playing with the teachers. I don't know if you guys know that. And also, you guys are all educated, you guys are all master's degree, right? But you guys know that Mrs. Shaw or the board, they don't give you the raise. That's not their job. There's a cabinet that does that. So you guys are barking at her, you guys are attacking her. She doesn't give you the raise. That's not her job. Her job is to do other things, you know. So you guys are so in the know, but you're missing the point. So I'm just saying, you guys are educators, you know, you guys don't act like you are. If any of you guys are in my children's classroom, we're gonna have a meeting. Just so you know. Just so you know. You know, you act right. You know, because you are training my child not to act like that, but act mature, act responsible.
Warning in the back.
Okay, so I'm
red
just telling
scarf.
you. Okay, so.
Time's up.
In the red scarf. One more time, you're out. One more time and you're out. One more. Stand up, escort yourself out. You're done. You're done. We will not proceed until you leave. You've gotten your warning more than once. You're done. Escort yourself out. This is a public meeting. Get used to it. Everybody's videotaping everybody.
You gotta give it to security.
Go ahead, stand up and yell again, and that's your first warning. Leave. Escort yourself out. Have fun. Next. Let's go. Next. Please tell me you're not a teacher. Yeah, I said that.
J.C. Carrillo, followed by Victoria Garibay, followed by Jessica Enos. J.C. Carrillo.
It's me. Thank you, board.
I'm a father, I'm a community member, and I just want to say thank you for holding the line, for protecting our children's innocence. I also stand in solidarity with teachers, but I also stand in solidarity with the board as well. I come from a long line of educators. I also am a union member. I understand how the
Can you
CBA
pause that,
works.
please? Do you need to leave and go cough and come back? Because 4 of you at once, come on. All 4 of you at one time. That's kind of funny. While he's speaking. Okay, we'll wait until you're done, drink your water, and then he'll go. Because it seems like everybody in opposition, you guys are loud and yelling. This is embarrassing. You can't tolerate anybody with a different idea than yours? You can't do it. It's so hard for you. Like, let's behave. Let's show. There is kids in here. Let's show them an example. I shouldn't have to be a referee person up here. That should not be my job. But if I have to do it to product a productful meeting, yeah, go ahead and make fun of me. Yes, I said a wrong word. No, I didn't go to college, but I'm a darn good mother, and I'm a board member. So what? You teachers have made fun of me for not going to college. My goal in life was to be a mother. So, sorry, that's really embarrassing when you're telling our kids a different story. If they don't go to college, they equate to nothing? How embarrassing. Stop. We will take another break if you don't behave. Everybody who's gotten a warning has a red shirt. Is that your representation? I hope not, because I see amazing teachers in here and they are behaving very well, and it's embarrassing. Stop. We shouldn't have to beg you to behave. You're adults. Go ahead.
I also understand what a CBA is, and I hope that you guys get your money. I understand what being underpaid is. Teachers are very underpaid for what you guys do and what you guys are responsible for. But I want to say shame on you who are not acting like teachers.
Just address the board,
shame
please.
on you teachers who are creating enmity between parents and teachers. Shame on you fake media who are doxing parents and calling us extremists and antagonizers. Shame on you who made that flyer at the park who was talking about Hamas and stuff that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here today. Shame on you, and shame on that person.
Victoria Garibay.
He was
followed
told,
by Jessica Enos,
we got
followed
this
by
covered, don't worry.
Sarah Solis Miller.
How many more speakers?
14.
14?
15.
Yeah, 15. Yeah, continue.
Hello, my name is Victoria Garibay, and I'm a special ed teacher at Rhodes Elementary. I moved here from San Bernardino City Unified School District. The first thing I wanted to say was I moved here because I grew up here. I went to Dixon, Cortez, Howard Cattle, Magnolia, and then graduated Chino High School in 2016. I came here because I wanted to give back to my community, but it's really hard when we don't get the right pay. As an intern with a BA in San Bernardino City Unified, I'm making the same now in my 3rd year with a master's degree. My first thought of you guys coming into this meeting and the last meeting was that you guys are very disrespectful towards your teachers, which is not okay. You guys have to show the same respect in order to get it. That's the one thing I learned in San Bernardino. You don't show the kids respect, you'll get chewed up. The same will happen here. My advice is that you stand with your teachers, you open your ear, otherwise you're going to lose.
Time is up.
Jessica Enos, followed by Sarah Solis Miller, followed by Deanna Dozie.
Good evening, board. My name is Jess. I'm the leader of AV Parents for Education, and this may shock you all, but I do agree that the teachers should be paid more. I was shocked to hear how little you guys get paid, and that's not enough to even survive in California. So I get it. I get the frustration and I get the desire, but there is a way to go about it. So I hope discussions can be made. I'm also here to support this board and their continued fight for parents and students in their community. This state and nation are watching you, and you have continued to light the fire for parental rights, and I'm so honored to be here to support you. I'm also here to amplify the voices of parents in the state who are fighting to change legislation and to get Protect Our Kids ballot initiative on the November 2024 ballot. This initiative will ban puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries on minors. It will return sports, bathrooms, and changing rooms back to biological sex, and it will prohibit schools from socially transitioning a student without parental consent. So continue the good fight. We have your back.
Sarah Solis Miller, followed by Deanna Dozie, followed by Naomi Minogue.
Hello, Executive Board. I have been teaching at the Chino Valley Unified School District for the past 10 years. I'm a mathematics teacher at Chino High School. I take my job very seriously. As Dr. Park knows, I have been in multiple PLC trainings. I have always submitted my intent to return the very day I get that email. But this year, I'm not submitting it. And I'm not going to submit it until you guys tell us that you intend to respect us. You guys are treating us as if we don't matter, as if we should go look for jobs in other places. And this is what I've done. I've had to submit a request for a letter of recommendation from my principal, John Miller, because I cannot stay any longer at this district where they treat us with such little disregard. You guys have no respect for us, and you want us to stay. Yeah, people are leaving. It's done.
Deanna Dozie, followed by Naomi Minogue, followed by Scott Carter.
Good evening, Dr. Enfield, President Shaw, Board and Cabinet. I'm a teacher at Dixon Elementary. I'm also a parent in the district, and I've lived in Chino for 15 years. 9 years ago, I decided to move over to Chino Valley from Orange Unified. After I enrolled my son in kindergarten, I was very excited to be closer to home when I knew my children would be in Chino. I applied for the TK position. Within a few hours, I got a phone call from HR inviting me to accept the position. However, they lowered their voice and they told me that they wanted me to take the weekend to reconsider after finding out how my salary and benefit package would differ from Chino Valley. I was eager and excited, and at the time married, and I did not need the insurance, so I went ahead and accepted the position. She said, okay, and I started this following school year. That was 9 years ago. In those 9 years, I unfortunately have gone through some life. The coin tossed, I went through a divorce, I had a medical emergency, and I now find myself...
Naomi Minogue, followed by Scott Carter, followed by Sarah Palmer.
Good evening, Board and Cabinet, community members, and our outstanding teachers. I realize that the school board, as the gentleman mentioned earlier, the school board is not the bargaining team of the district, so I ask that you please pass this on to the bargaining members of the district. These teachers and certificated staff members have braved the wind, rain, and lightning to show up for not just their students, but for one another. You cannot deny their dedication, their loyalty, their passion that they show inside and outside the classrooms. But unfortunately, loyalty and dedication will not pay their bills. Loyalty and dedication will not keep a roof over their head or food on their tables. Our certificated members deserve your attention, your loyalty, and your vote for better pay. There are no districts without schools, and there are no schools without teachers. Pay these amazing teachers.
Scott Carter, followed by Sarah Palmer, followed by Alejandra Ortiz.
See how you found out on that one.
Dear Board, I would like to request that you stop lying to us via omission. You have said repeatedly that there was 1 day of productive bargaining by ACT. Those were timed offers. None of those offers were extended beyond that day. They said at this hour they were over. You have repeatedly not included that. You have accused us of returning to original bargaining values when it was offered with that contingency. Those offers were on the table for a limited time that day only. We are ACT.
Sarah Palmer, followed by Alejandra Ortiz, followed by Kenneth T.
Hello, school board. I first want to start off by talking about a few things that I heard tonight, especially with our union lying to its teachers. What a lot of people do not realize is the union is made up of teachers and educators. We are the union. We are not lying to ourselves. So I want to start with that. Thank you. Okay. Now, our district already has 20 vacancies that they are saying they will fill with university interns. Do a lot of our parents know that their classrooms are not being filled with credentialed teachers? We also have 21 educators that have already put in for resignations after this school year. How many more is that going to be before you guys help us?
Alejandra Ortiz, followed by Kenneth T., followed by Eric Shamp.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alejandra, and I'm here to bring awareness that we send a lot of money to Israel, and we should stop sending so much money for things like that because we need it for our teachers.
I'm sorry, I need to stop you. If this is not about board business or children, well then please direct it back to that.
Okay, so the money that we're sending over there could be used for the teachers, okay, and for the students, and for mental health, and for just so much for the city. We should stop wasting it on a foreign country that is committing a genocide and give it to our teachers instead. Thank you.
Kenneth T., followed by Eric Shamp, followed by Nicole H.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kenneth. I'm a CVUSD alum. I graduated from Chino High School in 2013, and I'm now an attorney. And I wouldn't be where I am today without the support of CVUSD's wonderful teachers. That is why I'm here tonight in solidarity with ACT and ask that you give teachers in Chino fair wages. I also ask the district to support and protect its LGBT students as we believe in equality and fair treatment for all. Lastly, I'm here to ask that the board pass a ceasefire resolution calling for an end to the genocide.
Government Code 54954.3. We don't have subject over that matter in jurisdiction. I appreciate your passion, but that has nothing to do with the school board. So if you're going to proceed with that, the time would be up. Please direct it back to business that the school board. If he wants to redirect, then I will allow it. But if it's not something the board has business in, he will not be able to speak on it. We have a government code. We run a school district. If you have something that has to do with other parts of the government, I encourage you to go over to them. Ceasefire stuff, I will not allow that here. Sorry.
So other school boards have passed ceasefire resolutions, including Ann Arbor, for example, and I ask that you follow their example.
Again,
take a
if you're
stance.
going to continue, I'm going to ask you to leave, and your time's up. So choose to do something about the school district. That's not business of the board. The board does not handle any of that. They never will. They never have. We do business of the board. If you want to talk about a ceasefire, please take that to the appropriate government. That is not here. I'm sorry. I appreciate and I love all people and your concerns for people. That's beautiful, but that's not our business. I apologize, and I will not allow any more speakers in regards to asking for a ceasefire. That has to stop right now. So I can let you continue your time if it's going to go on something else with students.
How much time do I have left?
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you.
I yield my time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Eric Shamp, followed by Nicole H., followed by Marie G. Eric Shamp, followed by Nicole H.
My name is Eric Champ, and I'm the father of 4 children in our Chino Valley schools. I'm frustrated with the state of our district, and here's why. An obsession to wage culture wars instead of focus on student performance and support. I don't understand it, and I don't see the benefit. So far, nobody has seen the benefit. If your rhetoric against teachers and educators as pedophiles and groomers is to be believed, then what parent would keep their child in a CVUSD school? I would not. But I'm informed enough to know that that is not true, and I appreciate the fantastic education my children have received here. Unfortunately, because your rhetoric is blatantly politically charged and destructive to the very nature of what it means to be an educator, then what professional would choose to be a teacher in our district? Let me tell you this, constant subs, no homework assignments, and day after day of no curriculum is now the norm for my 9th grader's English class at Chino Hills High School. For 2 months, he's supposed to be preparing for college. But this is also not new.
Time is up. Nicole H., followed by Marie G., followed by Margaret Caldwell.
Hi, I'm a parent in this district, and I want to start by acknowledging that we are gathered here today on the traditional land of Tongva, who were forcibly removed due to settler colonialism. Our country is now funding a genocide, and why that's relevant is because our
Again, if you're going to go with the ceasefire, is it about the board? Is it about what we do in a district? Okay, then continue. But it needs to be about the board, and you direct the board.
If you allow me to finish,
I will, but you are also talking about something that the board hasn't no jurisdiction
the way our
in.
tax dollars is spent and what it funds is very relevant to the issues that are being
Not
talked
with
about
what you're
today.
asking for. I am so sorry. You're asking for the genocide stuff, and that has nothing to do with the school board.
If I could please exercise my First Amendment right here, I would appreciate it. We are spending billions of tax dollars to fund a genocide, and we can't afford to pay our teachers.
Again, what is that the business of the board?
And on top of this, we have policies that hurt our beautiful LGBTQ
Time is
plus
up.
kids.
Marie G., followed by Margaret Caldwell, followed by Betty Rose.
When I moved to this district, all I heard about was how great the schools were. When my daughter started school, I questioned why. The answer was always the scores are so high. If all you care about are test scores and attendance, you're failing my children. Teachers are essential. They teach out of love, not because they love to grade papers, attend meetings, and all the other things that, that should be built into their salary while dealing with our own children. They deserve more. When they don't have to worry about paying to have their basic needs met, then will they be capable to teach at the capacity that our children deserve? If we focused on paying educators instead of the $609 million California sends to Israel every year, we wouldn't have 2.5 generations of people not understanding that what is
Again,
happening
do I need to
in
say it again?
Palestine.
Because cut the mic, please, until they can address the board about board business. We are not going to allow that here. You're using the wrong platform. I am so sorry. You can go to another government entity that has to do with that. This is not the place. This is school. If you continue with what the business of the board is, that is not the business of the board, and I'm not going to keep repeating it for the next 10 speakers. Then address the board about board business, and that's it. You keep talking about the same issue, and it has nothing to do with the school board. Okay, continue, and if it does, we're cutting the mic and we're done.
If we utilize the $3.6 million from our combined cities to fund education instead of weapons and free health care for Israel, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Time is up.
Time's up.
Margaret Caldwell, followed by Betty Rose, followed by Hatim.
I think there's some confusion here. This is a school board, so please make sure you're going to the appropriate government that has something to do with that. We have nothing to do with that. There's nothing we can do to change that. It has nothing to do with your kids' education. So you'll need to take that to the appropriate department. I've already given you the ed code. Do you want to argue? You're more than welcome to leave. You're talking out of spot because you're actually technically supposed to be in your seat. You're not the speaker, so I'm allowing you to be in the aisle blocking it. So knock it off.
Obviously, I'm here to speak on the current genocide.
Okay, done. Cut the mic, please. Cut the mic, please. You guys have been warned. Done.
Next
Any more
speaker.
genocide, please sit down. There's no more speakers. That's it. That's it. Now you may leave. You got a warning. You're still talking out of term. This is a meeting. Leave right now. You're not supposed to be here anymore. You're disrupting a movie. That's fine. Then you address the board about board business, and I've warned you more than once. Now you may leave.
Betty Rose, followed by Hatim.
Is it going to be board business?
Well, I don't want to give a
Didn't you already
spoiler.
speak? Didn't she already speak?
No.
Is she the speaker? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I am here as a community member and an alum of Eagle Canyon Elementary School, Canyon Hills Junior High School, and Ayala High School. Shout out to the choir director or whoever spoke up here, because I was in choir as well. So I am in debt to all of my teachers for all the hard work they do and continue to do. And so I am here in solidarity to support them. We, the public, are telling you what is needed in order to properly educate with care our children and youth in our community. Pay them. If you say you care about the children who are our future, to quote the great Whitney Houston, and the educators in this room and those who are not able to be present, pay them. In the spirit of solidarity, I just want to say that when I was a student in this district, I learned about the Holocaust, and I wondered how such tragic atrocities could happen. You are proof of this today, Ms. Shaw, and everyone else on this board.
Time is up.
Final speaker is Hatim.
You already been warned. Now you may leave for yelling in a meeting. You may leave. You may leave. Then we're not going to continue.
The final speaker is Hatim.
You were warned like 5 times already. You may leave.
Ready?
No, not yet. She needs to leave, please. Go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to highlight an essential truth. Fair pay for teachers is fundamental. These educators shape our future, yet their compensation doesn't match their immense contribution. Ensuring teachers receive fair pay isn't just about recognition. It's about investing in our collective future by attracting top talent to the teaching profession. Moreover, it's imperative that we can reconsider our financial priorities, particularly the aid sent to countries engaged in actions contrary to our values. Redirecting even a portion of these funds toward education can make a significant difference. We're talking about $14 billion that was spent that our teachers did not get any of it. It's not just about higher salaries, it's about better resources and opportunities for our teachers and students. Investing in education is investing in peace, innovation, and future leadership. It sends a clear message. Education is the cornerstone of our society. By supporting our teachers and reallocating resources wisely, we pave the way for a brighter, more...
That's it.
That's it? That appears to be all of our speakers. We are now on to changes and deletions. Pat, are there any changes or deletions?
The following changes on the agenda, item 3E1, certificated classified personnel items, page 79, is yellow sheeted.
Thank you, Pat. We are now on to action items. The first item is 2A1, new board policy and administrative regulations 5010 notification. Recommends that the Board of Education approve new board policy and administrative regulations 5010 notification. Pat, are there any speakers?
22.
Thank you, Pat.
The first speaker is Amanda Swagger, followed by Christy Hurst, followed by Avery Rosas.
President Shaw, before we continue,
You'll be given 2 minutes.
Okay.
I knew you were going to ask. And I was just going to clarify that before we started. 2 minutes because of the amount of speakers in board bylaw, and then Dr. Enfield will continue his 10-second warning.
Thank you, Dr. Enfield. Good evening, Board, President Shaw, Dr. Enfield, Cabinet, and everyone in attendance. Unlike most of our speakers tonight, I'm not opposed or in favor of this motion. I'm here on a technicality. This particular motion should not be on the floor. At this point, you have proposed over a 5-page modification and revision to board policy. The problem is this board policy is neglecting the fact that it's basically status quo. Nothing has changed. The problem with that is that by implementing this policy, we are creating a ton of mess in board policy. There is no plan to remove the redundant text in the policy, and there's also no plan on fixing what's already been broken before. The board policy is fine. Currently, all the text is in the regular document, and there's no need for this adjustment at this point. I'd encourage you to postpone this matter until the next meeting, revise the policy, come up with a plan to fix after things have been done, and proceed from there. On a complete side note, I want to congratulate our 2 administrators who are advancing in our district at this time. In our freshman transition class, I have the opportunity to show the kids what hard work and advancement can do. And setting our 2 administrators, Dr. Park, and I apologize, I can't say her name, the other administrator, giving them the opportunity to show how hard work can advance them is such a great opportunity to show our students the power of hard work and education. Thank you for your time. You have a great evening.
Thank you.
Christy Hurst, followed by Glory Ciccarelli, followed by John Cervantes.
Okay. Maya Angelou was one of our nation's most treasured writers and thinkers. She's been banned a lot. Maya Angelou said, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time." I'll say it again. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. These are some of the things you, Sonja Shaw, have said on camera about your crusade to forcibly out students. This is a spiritual battle. This is warfare. A non-affirming house doesn't mean they're dangerous. Some would say a non-affirming house can actually be more healthy. They're not getting them the right kind of help. This is language of conversion therapy, a brutal practice banned in California and 22 other states. Tonight, this board will pass an updated forced outing policy in order to survive a court battle we are paying for, and they are losing. The updated policy is all legalese written by their far-right law firm with the help of AALRR. The firm we, Chino taxpayers, have now paid more in the last 6 months, $327,000, than we did in the previous 12. It doesn't matter, the update doesn't include the word gender or bathroom. This policy was passed to discriminate, and it still does, because that's what it was intended and designed to do. Meanwhile, this board says it has no money to pay teachers. Shame on you.
Glory Ciccarelli, followed by John Cervantes, followed by Jacqueline Cortez.
I just wanted a moment of silence for next Benedict. May they forever rest in power. And may this board and Jack Hibbs face judgment for using policies like this forced outing policy to wage war on marginalized communities. You have intentionally sanitized the black educator population and missed me with the denial, because all you have to do is look around and at who you are hiring. You refuse to translate these meetings into another language, leaving thousands of parents in the dark about what's going on with their kids, and you allow your unhinged acolytes to infect this district with hatred for the queer community so thick, at this point, it's giving get a hobby. Shame on you, board, and Jack Hibbs, for making this district into a ground fertile and rich with bigotry and hatred so dense it makes what happened to next Benedict not just a possibility, but an inevitability. And may God have mercy on you when that judgment comes, since you used since you used his name to do it.
Ron Cervantes, followed by Jacqueline Cortez, followed by Tricia Keeling.
Good evening, President Shaw, Board, Superintendent Enfield, and Cabinet. My name is John Cervantes. I'm a husband, father, grandfather, and retired police officer. It's hard to believe that we have to sit here and talk about a policy to notify parents. To me, that should be automatic. Could you imagine something happening to your kid and you not getting called? Can't believe it. Thank you guys for what you're doing, for fighting for it, and for all you board members that are standing for it, I applaud you and I thank you. Your priorities are right, making parents a priority and also the kids. For those that are not for it, you need to rethink your priorities. Thank you.
Jacqueline Cortez, followed by Tricia Keeling, followed by Max Ibarra.
Here we go again with the parental notification policy, aka the outing policy. Ms. Shaw, were the interviews drying up? Did your puppet master decide to take you off the dusty shelf? Chino Valley community, Ms. Shaw is what you get when you don't pay attention to local elections. Ms. Shaw won because the people most likely to vote against her did not vote. And I am sure the $50,000 she received for her campaign from a construction company didn't hurt either. Elect a clown and get a circus. Ms. Shaw, you act like you're the puppet master, but in reality, you are the puppet. You have been following a playbook. You also created and spread a false rumor that Don Lugo's Wellness Center will be used to perform abortions for the sole purpose of preventing a donation from the Chamber of Commerce. You are such a liar. You're practically a Disney villain. You had coloring books and stuffed animals taken away from children. What a monster. You also copied this outing policy that got us sued and has cost the district hundreds of thousands of dollars, despite your lies that it hasn't. The district's legal fees were over $500,000 last I checked, $89,000 in January alone. Oh, but there is no money for teacher raises. More lies. Your next goal is to destroy our union, but Ms. Shaw, I will put it in very simple terms so that even you can understand. I am the union. We are the union. An attack on the union is an attack on us. Stop talking about our union when you can't even join the club. And by the way, your defund the union comment is such a joke because you can't defund something you don't fund. You can't even fund yourself. Wake up, Chino Valley. Stop letting this egotistical, narcissistic dictator waste our funds. Defund Shaw and fund teachers.
Tricia Keeling, followed by Max Ibarra, followed by Catherine Gardner.
My name is Tricia Keeling. I have 2 children in public education. I'm here to speak out against your forced outing policy. It is obvious that you're trying to pass another version of forced outing, given that your last attempt is being held up in courts. It seems that you are determined to harm children and disregard their personal rights for privacy, determined to discriminate against trans kids no matter how many you personally hurt. It is also clear that it is very likely you already made your mind up and you're going to pass a version of this again. Again, the state is likely to intervene as to protect the rights of children in this community. When you took your oath of office, Sonja, you did so in bad faith because you had every intention of following the guidance of Christian nationalism instead of the voices of the people in this community. You have invited the Heritage Foundation and the CNP, who are here tonight, into the classroom here in Chino, and you've traveled to Redlands to attempt to influence the education of my children by meeting with some of the worst extremists in our area running for my children's school board. You took the responsibility to serve the children of Chino Valley Unified and twisted it into an opportunity for you to begin your media career. I've watched you scroll on your phone all night while teachers have talked to you about getting a living wage like you do not care.
That's your first warning.
Shame on you. Protect trans kids always and forever. Thank you.
Max Ibarra, followed by Catherine Gardner, followed by Oscar Avila.
This policy is just your attempt to implement the forced outing policy while dodging the discrimination charges. This policy is intentionally left vague and undefined to cause confusion about its implications. We are yet again wasting time on your incessant need to throw away taxpayer dollars on divisive topics meant to generate publicity for your goal of pitting parents against students and educators. It is not surprising in the least that this comes at the first meeting after ACT declares an impasse. Our resources and attention are being spent on unnecessary items like this and being drawn away from big issues. You know, issues that actually exist, like lack of teacher resources, and not made up ones that you've manufactured, like the erosion of parental rights. It's also why using the Liberty Justice Center for the original parental notification policy is so on brand, a firm that is dedicated to the same anti-union rhetoric we see from you. You craft the illusion that policies like these are just you fighting for the safety of students, but really, you're just fighting for the spotlight. You know that the parental notification policy gave you national attention, and you are desperately trying to hold on to that. You abuse your power as a school board president to grow your platform, and will continue this while our schools, students, and teachers suffer at your hands.
Catherine Gardner, followed by Oscar Avila, followed by Karen Durham.
Hi, I am the parent of an LGBTQ child here in California. This policy, if passed, will be the template to forcibly out queer kids across our state in all conservative districts, putting them at risk for abuse, suicide, and being kicked out of their homes, and possibly sex trafficked. Queer children have been used as political footballs this year by politicians who weaponize hatred and churches who defame Jesus. And this school board is kicking these kids the hardest. Since July, when Chino passed their first policy, enforced outing, that's very similar to this one, over 700 calls were made to the Rainbow Youth Crisis Hotline by kids from Chino alone. That's how toxic your decision made this environment. But you know that. You also know about the Chino student who attempted suicide and then fled to Mexico for a more welcoming school district. This board is led by Sonja Shaw, who posed with a known Nazi sympathizer. Sonja Shaw, who's championed Adam Vina as the face of parental rights, a disturbed, volatile man who has a 5-year restraining order against him because he seems to pose a risk to his kid and anyone who helps them. That's the face of parental rights. Sonja won't apologize for the extremism in her coalition because this is her coalition. And this new policy is a blatant attempt into tricking the courts into thinking it's not the old policy. But queer kids are still the clear targets, and the cost of this is starving your district of teachers. You don't run this district. Karen England, Jack Hibbs, and Gina Gleason, the Council for National Policy, the Family Research Council, runs this district. I can see you smiling, Karen, and that's true. You brought book banning from Tennessee.
Address the board, please. Thank you.
You imported a book ban from Tennessee that was written in Washington. I am talking about the board welcomed in Karen England from Tennessee.
That's fine. Now proceed.
And did a thing at it at Calvary Chapel with Jack Hibbs. Pay your teachers, not your GOP lawyers. You're wasting your money. Your district is starving.
Oscar Avila, followed by Karen Durham, followed by Constance B. Oscar Avila.
Are we doing 2 minutes? Yeah. 2 minutes? Okay. Thank you, board, for taking your time to the parents. I'm a parent in this district. I have one daughter that graduated on Luke. We'll have another one that's graduating. And then I have grandkids that are coming right behind. So this policy is important to me. It means a lot. I don't have any issue with my children. We communicate. I love my kids. I can pretty much read their minds. I'm that kind of dad. You know, I've been a single parent for a long time. Just got married. So I have a close eye on my kids. But not every parent does. Some parents are single parents. Some parents don't have that connection. You know, as when kids become teenagers, sometimes they rebel. You know, I don't have that, thank God. But so this policy, what it does, as far as I could tell, it protects parental rights. And you know, we shouldn't have to come to a school board to demand parental rights, but we live in a time now where we have Sacramento, we have the unions making a policy that we had no business in having. You know, so up until we figured out during the lockdowns that there was policy that California had throughout the state that made it against policy to, you know, talk to the parent about your child's issues, whether it was, some kind of confusion or something. So that's wrong. We found out that was wrong, so we wanted to change it. That's why we're here. So there's no reason why anybody outside of the family unit could come into my home and tell me that you have no right over your child. That's baloney. This is my child. I raised her. I'm with her when she's sick. I'm going to send her to college. Nobody else, whether it's the union. People say, I am the union. Well, you're a fool for saying you're the union, because I'll tell you what, the union makes a lot of money. They don't care about you. Whatever measly amount of money you say you make because you're mad about, they're making way more money than that. So for you to say that I'm going to put my head on the chopping block for the union, that's ridiculous. So I'm going to tell you, nobody cares about our family more than parents. So I want it to pass because I want my kids to be able to talk to me, and if for some reason, if I miss a ball, if we have a bad day, if they fight with me, if they rebel, I want to be able to be told, you know what, she's having
That's
a
your
bad
first
day.
warning.
He's having a bad day. Come, let's have a conference. Let's have a conference, talk together. So don't divide families. Help unite them. Connect with us. Let us raise these kids.
Time's up.
Karen Durham, followed by Constance B., followed by Lisa G.
We are here tonight to speak in opposition to the forced policy deja vu tonight. We've watched this board spend tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars with the Liberty Justice Center on the legal battle to attack queer kids with the forced outing policy. We're here today because that battle is failing, and so you're rewriting this policy, not with the students' well-being in mind, but with the Supreme Court in mind. It doesn't matter how many times you rewrite this policy, your intention and bigotry are clear. Ms. Shaw is paying more attention to her anti-LGBTQ, anti-public education political allies than she is to doing her actual job. It's no surprise that we're here today with underpaid, underappreciated teachers. This board is spending these teachers' raises on culture wars and still claims it can't afford to meet their needs. Sonja, I'll remind you of the first time that I met you, when you traveled to Orange Unified to attack queer students there. You had the same saccharine smile on your face there that day. And voters in Orange just recalled their board members who followed your guidance. Your time is running out.
Fuck you.
What?
You may leave.
Wow.
Constance B., followed by Lisa
Glad you applaud that behavior, guys. Doing
G.,
great.
followed by Joel Hamino.
Are proven to increase safety on campus for all students. I urge this board.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Nicole Vicario, followed by Chris Riddle, followed by Sydney Burr.
Yeah, I know. I almost forgot.
Good evening, board. My name is Nicole Vicario, and the amount of bullying I'm seeing from adults against this board is disgusting. From teachers to these adults on the panel, it's disgusting to view. And I am so glad that I took my children out and did not allow the village to raise my children, and I will raise them myself. Most of these people coming up here don't even have children, so I don't even know why they're up here talking about any of this. So I just want to say that I fully support this policy. Thank you for caring more about our children's salvation than anything else. Thank you for including parents in the decisions of our children's lives. Thank you for calling out the evil. Thank you for standing up and allowing Jesus Christ to lead you. I love you, and I pray for your protection and continued strength in protecting all of our children. These are our children, and we will not back down in standing by you to protect them. Thank you.
Chris Riddle, followed by Sydney Burr, followed by Blue Lovato.
Hi, I'm a parent and come from 3 generations of public school teachers. And this policy does not belong in a public school. It may come as a surprise to some of the parents in this room, but parents don't own their children. Children
Guys,
are their
please
own people,
refrain.
and they deserve the same respect as all human beings. This policy will insert the school system into the personal and moral lives of students and families, a place a public school system does not belong. Schools are public places, which means they belong to all people in a community. And in a free country like this one, those in positions of authority like teachers, administrators, and school board presidents don't get to decide the morality of an individual. It's quite frankly none of your or the school board's business. If parents want to know what's going on in their kids' personal lives, they should talk to their kids. I fear that this policy will lead to more violence and disruption in our schools and society. This agenda item is a big step towards theocratic fascism. This is a public school. This board works for all the public, not just the ones you agree with. And pay your teachers.
Sydney Burr, followed by Blue Lovato, followed by Eva Harrison. Sydney Burr.
Hi. I've been afraid of speaking here tonight, but I feel it's my responsibility. As others have discussed and will discuss, including my partner Blue, Board Policy 5010 would hurt transgender students. So I'd like to take a moment to outline some issues of the policy's first two requirements that the board might value more. It is both an overreach of government and a waste of educational resources to require that parents be contacted about matters that aren't relevant to learning or safety, such as the name and pronouns that a student uses. We all know that teachers are already overworked and underpaid. It's also a waste of this board's time and money to attempt to approve a policy so similar to one that was already struck down by the court. Those legal fees are no joke, but the funding for our schools is. Still, my first and last concern is for my community. Trans youth may be what you fear, but we are not perverted. We're just kids trying to survive in a dangerous world, and our only demand is to be left alone. Also, part of the job of the school board is to express the values of the community. Cease fire now. Thank you.
Blue Lovato, followed by Eva Harrison, followed by Sean Kay.
Hello, my name is Blue and my pronouns are they, them. I am a local high school senior and I urge you not to approve new board policy and administrative regulation 5010. A similar policy was passed last summer and subsequently struck down in court. While this new policy does not directly mention that students will be outed to their parents if they are suspected of being transgender, the intent is clear. Intentionally worded broadly to still require parents to be notified if their child requests to be referred by a different name or pronouns. This policy will not protect the rights of parents as is claimed. The truth of the matter is that this will endanger transgender and gender nonconforming students. If a student has an unsupportive family, you are putting them at risk of physical and mental harm, in addition to the potential for them to face blatant rejection and be kicked out. According to the 2019 Youth Risk Behavior Survey, transgender high school students were more than 9 times more likely to face homelessness than their cisgender peers. This statistic has likely gone up in recent years as anti-transgender rhetoric has become increasingly prevalent in today's media. I personally know many LGBTQ+ people, especially those who are transgender and gender nonconforming, whose health and safety would be put in jeopardy if such a policy is passed. Many would face backlash at home, while others would no longer have a place to call home. If this policy is passed, you will be endangering students' physical and mental safety and well-being at home. And if something does happen to a student as a result of this policy, the blame will be on you. Thank you for your time and understanding.
Eva Harrison, followed by Sean Kay, followed by Heather P. Eva Harrison, followed by Sean Kay, followed by Heather P.
Hi there. Safe teachers don't lie to parents. Safe teachers don't keep secrets from parents. Thank you for protecting our children from unsafe teachers by passing a parental notification policy. Because I'm running a parental info page, I have heard countless stories of parents who have been left out of issues their kids experienced at school, whether that's bullying, grades dropping drastically, behavioral behavioral changes. Parents need to be informed. Whatever is in place now is clearly not working, so a parental notification policy is so important and so needed. Parents love and know their kids best. Calling a parent abusive for wanting to get their child the proper psychological help is completely ignorant. If a parent is actually abusive, teachers are mandated reporters and have to report abuse. If teachers fail to do so, that's a completely different issue. If you are a parent against parental notification, I'm sure there can be an easy solution for you. You can opt out of being notified of any behavioral changes for your own children. I choose what's best for mine. Chino parents, I hope you paid attention tonight. Not all, but some of the teachers who spoke here tonight were so disrespectful, so aggressive in the way they addressed the board, not able to control their emotions. I was embarrassed for them. But more importantly, I would not want them to teach my children. Pull your kids if you can. If you can't, be involved.
Sean K., followed by Heather P., followed by the final speaker, Nick Wilson.
Hello, I have a niece who attends Ayala High School. Our family is grateful that this board supports truth and transparency with parents through a parental notification policy because truth and transparency equal trust. It is not developmentally appropriate for children to consent to permanent, life-altering decisions, nor the social transitions that lead them there, especially at school. We love teachers, but they are not medical professionals. Thank you for your leadership that sets a good example for kids and respects the parent-child relationship, religious freedom, and constitutional law. It is not a forced outing policy if everyone knows except the parents. I'd like to point out that if everyone is afraid of children being in abusive, unsupportive homes, why wouldn't you want mandated support reporters involved? Everyone in agreement should sign the ballot initiative petition for Protect Kids California. Thank you.
Heather P., followed by Nick Wilson.
We are all here because we deeply care about children and their well-being. And I am so grateful that there are trustees that are willing to bring forward a policy that focuses on partnering with parents. Parental notification policies have been unfairly dubbed forced outing policies. This isn't about hate, this is about love. Parents love their children more than anyone else ever could, and they have the ultimate responsibility for them. As such, they need to be informed. A child is not capable of deciding what's best for themselves, and that's why they are not allowed to get their ears pierced, or buy cigarettes, or vote, or a slew of other things. That's a parent's job only. Thank you for showing this community that you prioritize the parent-child relationship.
Nick Wilson.
Good evening. So it's really unfortunate to see what we have heard tonight, the behavior that has been displayed tonight. I don't believe that it represents the best of us. I don't believe that it represents the best of our community, and it certainly does not represent what the majority of parents feel. It is ludicrous, it is insanity to think that there are parents that don't want to be known, that don't want to know what's going on with their children. At the end of the day, this is an activist movement, and this doesn't represent parents. We've lost our way, not only as a state, but as a country. When you look at what's going on with the monthly educator book from the teachers union, there's nothing in here about improving education. This is about social justice, okay? Intentionally designed to divide the family unit. All right, somehow we have commingled things going on with foreign policy to the teachers' pay and benefits to parental rights. It is so important for this policy to pass and move forward because I want to know what's going on with my child. It doesn't matter what it is. And for something as important as we're seeing with parental notification and whether or not Johnny decides to be Jenny, I think that the best outcomes for families is with parental involvement, not exclusion. This is very concerning, the language that we're seeing and hearing tonight. Not representative of the moral fabric of our country, and everyone knows it. So God bless you guys for what you're doing, because you're demonstrating leadership.
No more? Okay. Okay, so we're on, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Nah. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Comments, questions, discussions? Seeing that there's none, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any, thank you, Mr. Monroe. Any opposed?
No.
With one opposed. Preferential?
No.
Thank you. And the motion passes with a vote of 4-1. Looks like parents are winning. Now go on to item 2B1, Resolution 2023-2024-42, Notice of Layoff of Certain Classified Staff pursuant to Education Code 45117 and 45298. Recommends the Board of Education adopt a Resolution 2023-2024-42, Notice of Layoff of Certain Classified Staff pursuant to Education Code. I'll do it next time. 45117 and 45298. Pat, are there any speakers?
There are none.
Thank you, Pat. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Nah. May I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Any comments, questions, discussions? Seeing that the...
Yeah.
You do?
Could,
okay, it's not working. Go ahead, Mr. Nah.
Could we have a more explanation on his position?
Yeah, I can give you an explanation, Mr. Don. This is a categorical position and the funds have gone away. And so this position is being laid off, but the individual that's in the position has already found, we've already found another position for that individual.
Thank you, Dr. Anfield. Seeing that there's no more, the light's not working. Anybody else have anything? Seeing that there's none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Preferential?
Yes.
The motion passes with a vote of 5-0. That includes action items. We're now on to consent. Pat, are there any speakers on consent?
2 speakers on 3A2.
Thank you, Pat.
Pat, want to call their
Pat?
name?
Oh, I'm sorry. Katie Martinez, followed by Raul Zamora.
Like, where's the speakers?
I wrote the wrong agenda, so I don't really even know what this agenda item is. You want to fill me in real fast? I'm not kidding. I really did. I'm just gonna comment and say thank you for you guys. COVID made us pay attention and realize what our district was failing, and that is why this board flipped this rhetoric of parents are the enemy so backwards. The U.S. Supreme Court already ruled that we have rights over our kids. They belong to us, and that is a God-given right. So I just want to thank you guys. I really wish these students that I really want to applaud the students they left that spoke. It took courage for them to come up here, whether I agree with them or not. It was very unfortunate, though. Their lingo was so on point because they're so well educated in that agenda. Yet, what are our reading scores and our math scores? That our agendas are so heavily influenced in our schools, yet we can't even focus on basic academics. And we need to get back to that and have parents involved to do that. So I thank you guys. I'm sorry for being so hot mess tonight, but I appreciate all that you guys do. So,
thank you.
Roel Zamora. Roel Zamora.
No, looks like they're not here. Okay, board members, do you have any polls? Mr. Bridge.
No polls.
Thank you. Mr. Cruz.
Do I have to pull that? I don't know. Is that, or just forget about it?
No polls? Or do you have a poll?
No polls.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Monroe.
No polls.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Mr. Nah.
And I have no polls.
And I have no polls. For the remainder of the consent items, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Nog. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Bridge. Let's take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Preferential?
Yes.
The motion passes with a vote of 5-0, with preferential voting yes. We're now on to information items. Pat, are there any requests to speak from the public?
There are none.
Thank you. Board members, are there any comments or questions? Seeing that there's none, we'll go ahead and move on to We're on to communications. Mr. Bridge.
Thank you. Just a couple of points tonight. On Saturday, February 23rd, I attended the Baldy View ROP Open House in Ontario. It was very nicely done. A lot of displays, a lot of exhibits, and very well attended. I was glad to see that. Also, in this last week of Read Across America Day, Literacy Day, or Dr. Seuss' birthday, I was able to read at Cattle Elementary last Friday in Ms. D'Amato's TK class and Ms. Contreras' kindergarten class. And yesterday I was at Hidden Trails Elementary for their Literacy Day and was able to read to Ms. Chen's first grade class and Ms. Lee's second grade class. And I wanted to thank both schools and teachers for the invitation and wonderful morning doing that. Just a quick comment about negotiations. We know that they're an impasse, but we also know that it can still continue with both sides at the table. One thing that I would like to see happen, and this is coming from the voice of experience, I negotiated several contracts in this district for the association. None more than the one 24 years ago that I still remember that we settled the day after graduation. It took 9 months. I saw someone back there with a strike vote thing. We actually took a strike vote that year. Didn't use it, got to the point we wanted. But I would really like to see bargaining updates cease while we're going through this process from this point on. I don't think it does any good sending out information either side. It just starts, I think it just does not facilitate getting what we want done, and that's an agreement at the table. I want to see both sides of the table, keep talking. That's the only way you're going to get a tentative agreement. You know, demonstrations are fine, getting the word out, you know, and support and all that is fine, but the agreement happens at the table. And so I'm hoping that we can continue that. If we get to the mediator, let the mediator do their job as well, because, and one thing you may not realize, the mediator isn't just scheduled for just Chino. Mediators take on several different mediations at the same time, and that's probably why the dates that were presented to the district were the dates that were presented, starting with possibility of one next week and some in April and some in May, because those are the dates the mediator actually had open on their calendar. And finally tonight, and you saw my no vote, this board approved a new notification policy. I didn't think it was any better than the previous one that I voted against, so I didn't support it. But in the midst of all this culture war stuff, I got a few questions for thought. It doesn't require a response, but just think about this. Does what we pass tonight help our students' attendance? Does this help our students complete class assignments or projects or papers? Does this help our students study for tests? Does this help our students get the grades they need for post-secondary education, whether it be in college or a trade school, leading to completion and a successful career? Because that's what we all want for our children. I've seen it with my own two, and that's what we want. I want to remind you that our mission is student achievement, and that is basically the first thing you see up when we're back in the boardroom, up on the wall, is student achievement. And to do that, we've got to support our teachers and staff, and it all culminates in celebrating at the graduation that's going to occur in a couple of months. So that's just food for thought. I don't think any of us want to see our children living at home with us when they're 35. We want to see them successful. We want to see them get out and get on their own. And with that, I will conclude my comments. Thank you.
Mr. Bridge, Mr. Na?
Okay, thank you. Tonight, we had many teachers attending our meeting tonight. Weather wasn't so nice. It was pretty cool, and it almost looked like it was about to rain. But you guys showed up because there was a great cause. I remember years ago, my best place after school was probably a McDonald's. Remember those are Big Mac days for $2? Get a Big Mac. Yeah, that's over now. You get a tiny Mac for I think $10 today. So having said that, we're really facing a tough economy in California. Today's $100 bill is probably worth maybe $20 bills in the past. So you would know physically through daily lives what kind of lives that our teachers and our staff members have to go through every single day, trying to just to survive and pay bills, as one of our teachers said. So my hope and my prayers is that before the time goes on, we would do our best to meet again, perhaps, and do whatever we can to scratch anything we can to support our teachers and our staff members. It's only a right thing to do, because the teachers not only work 8 hours, they take many hours at home to grade papers, making plans for next day's a plan for testing and quizzes. So it's endless. The work is endless. And we have some of the best teachers in our school district, and that shows every end of year. And look at the awards they're winning. We're an award-winning school district because of all the hard work that our teachers and staff members put in. So let's do our best to meet and trying to help our teachers and our staff members. Now, I have attended, along with Mr. Bridge and Ms. Sonja Shah, a Stepping Up program, where the 6th graders becoming junior high schoolers. And guess who was a keynote speaker? None other than Ms. Shah. And what the comments afterwards from the parents? They thought she would be a best to be a classroom teacher. There were literally tens, 20, 30 students raising their hands as wanted to ask questions about her speech. The kids really got into it until I get the chance to speak and everybody fell asleep. So, having said that, I think she has a great talent to be a classroom teacher, and I think she would make one of our best teachers in our school district. I'm serious. And now, since I brought her name up, let me clear out the air. I've been hearing last few meetings, but especially tonight. Show us the respect, Ms. Shah, Mrs. Shah, from some of these misinformed people. They said they were teachers, but I don't know if they were teachers, because as some of the parents mentioned that they weren't acting like a teachers, so I don't know if they were teachers. Because the teachers, usually I know them by face-to-face. But these people, I didn't know if they were teachers, and I don't believe they were our teachers. Accusing Ms. Shaw being not being respectful person to teachers. But let me tell you something. In private side, when I would have a conversation with Ms. Shaw, she talks about mainly two items. One is about her daughters and teachers, how grateful she is about teachers, not only from her Ayala years in high school, but current time where they're being so helpful to her daughters. So when they tell me that she's not respectful to teachers, I would say 100% they're misinformed. Okay, so if you guys have any concern with that or want to know more truth, you could contact me at any time and I'll tell you and give you the truth. So that would be my comment tonight. Thank you for all coming. And thank you for bringing flags all the time. Can I have you guys stand up? Let's give them a great applause. I love flags. So you guys bring every meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Na. Mr. Monroe.
Let me see, a couple things. Had the opportunity to pop in on a couple of freshman nights at high schools. It's great to see all the clubs and sports and classrooms representing the different things that are offered at each campus. The excitement of those that are going to come into high school and the excitement of those that attend those high schools, the school spirit that's there. So that's wonderful to see. I had opportunity to meet with several parents, teachers over the last couple of weeks. It's amazing conversations when you can sit across from each other and actually talk about these topics. And we don't always agree when we leave, but it's always been respectful. And I can tell you that I actually like each one of the people that I've met with and thought very highly of them and would engage in conversations with those individuals in the future at any time. I'm a little frustrated in what happened here tonight. As I look around this room and I see the 3 Bs posted up big and bold and, I don't know, faded red and white, and you had even some of them mention that as we look around, be safe, be respectful. You know, I didn't see a lot of that. And when I say that, immediately people think, well, this person this and this person this. You know, I'm not talking about any other person but yourself. And one of the greatest things we can do as we teach individuals is to model the behavior. And I didn't see people modeling that behavior tonight. And it's unfortunate. I know negotiations are frustrating. Trust me, they're frustrating on both parts. There's a lot of information that gets around and around and around, which is why really when we negotiated a contract at the police department, we didn't go back to the police department and spread the rumors of what was offered, because all it does is breed negativity. Teachers, if you continue to say that Chino Valley is the worst place in the world to work, you are contributing to the problem of teachers not wanting to come work here. Honestly, it's that simple. Every district has its problems. Every business has its problems. They're all different. But you have to take pride in where you work and make it better. And we all contribute to the success or failures of this school district. And in order for it to be successful, we all have to come together and negotiate and compromise and come to an understanding and respect one another. The biggest thing that we can do is model that behavior. by although somebody else is not being respectful, not mirroring that activity back. Absorb it. The other thing that I see up here is be responsible. You know, it's easy to say, teachers, you're worth it. You invest in our community, and we want to pay you the world. As a law enforcement officer, I guarantee the three gentlemen in the back here in uniform with a badge on, how much money can I offer you to be shot, to be spit on, to be judged, to be called racist every day, no matter how good you do, to not be good enough, to have the worst in the community? I can't pay you enough, and yet they go out there for a salary. You know, the bottom line, no matter what you do, there comes a point where it's not enough to get paid. You're not paid enough. And teachers, you deserve more. But our job as a board is to be responsible. One of the things I'll make available to anybody who wants it is we get a CSBA newsletter as board members. And it talks about the budget. One of the things it mentions in here, it gives five suggestions for board members going forward regarding the governor's budget proposal. Plan for lower revenues. Maintain a similar reserve withdrawal. Okay? There's a couple, there's 5 of them. If any of you want it, you can have it. It's right here. Okay? We have to be responsible in our spending and measure that. A lot of the comparisons that you hear are not necessarily apples to apples. And that's the hard part when you talk about negotiations. If anybody's interested, I will talk about them. I've done negotiations for a little bit. They have never been fun. I have never left a negotiation going, that was the best time of my life. Being on the other side, I can say the same thing. Because for the most part, I try to hold my tongue up here and just get bombarded with how terrible we are, how disrespectful we are, and what we're offering. I do want to say to the cabinet, thank you for your hard work. It is frustrating to be a part of the negotiation. I thank you for being professional and for being available whenever they offer to come to the table. That's very important. It's hard to sit there and just take punches. And so I want to say thank you for that. Our district is a great district. I don't share a whole lot about myself, and some of you find out here and there. But sorry. One of the things that we hear on the board is you're not qualified. You're not qualified to do this. You don't know. And I had the opportunity, after retiring from law enforcement, to go become a teacher. So I did. So this year I've been in the classroom. What a unique perspective to gain the problems. Okay? I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago, I covered a special ed class. The teacher had an IEP meeting that they had to go to, and they asked me to cover the class. I left that class going, whoa. For the aides and the special ed teachers to do that is phenomenal. What a difficult job it is. I've said this from the beginning when I got on this board. I've looked at special ed. I've talked to numerous parents. There is a ton of work to be done on special ed. Everybody agrees with it. Where do we start? Where do we start? Please. We have to fix it. Where do we start? It is so encompassing, so big, so large. Where do we start? If we can find a starting place, we can start making headway. But the perspective is unique now, actually sitting on a board and being in a classroom. But I will tell you, it's a little bit taxing when I hear about the free time. I put in the free time. I put in a ton of free time as an officer. Every day I put in at least an hour and a half or 2 hours. and then went and worked a 12-hour shift or 10-hour shift. I worked nights, I worked weekends, I worked holidays, I worked tactical deployments. Okay, I didn't get days off. Everybody puts in extra time at work. It's what it takes to be successful. Teachers, if you're putting in extra time, I applaud you. It's what it takes to be good at your job. Because otherwise you'd just be average. And you wouldn't be an asset. Thank you for your extra time. Please, as we go forward, let's try to show some restraint and try to be respectful. Bargain in that manner. I know your frustration, but that doesn't mean that you come and show it in a meeting like we did tonight. There's other means to do it. You're doing certain things already, which I think is professional, and I think is merited regarding this with the situation that you're in. So please, communication is key. Respecting each other is a necessity, and compromise is a must to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Monroe. Chris?
Yeah. Let me read you really quick. We represented PACE, the Policy Analysis for California. It's a nonpartisan research center based, Stanford, University of Berkeley, and USC. And they published something about our school district. And let me just read you something. District leadership in Chino Valley Unified School District and the PLC at Work model for the district improved overall ELA and math scores coming out of the pandemic. And it was Dr. Grace, they mentioned you, Dr. Grace, with this piece of work. And, PACE, it's a well-established research journal. So it's really impressive because this was done with our teachers and everybody in our school district. So this is really impressive to be published for Chino Valley. I do want to say, when it comes to our school budget, we're in the bottom 5. So we're number 5 out of 36 school districts. We're the lowest. So we're in the bottom 5. And it's based on LCAP. For funding. And so, not every child received the same amount of money. So, you could imagine that we're number 5 and other schools 6 through 36 are higher than us. So there's a lot of things to take into account with budgeting and so forth. And then that gentleman, the person, the union representative, mentioned April. They're going to negotiate in April. But they have ample opportunity to negotiate in March. So, they have to get up and start negotiating. It's so critical, especially in the coming month where Governor Newsom is going to present his budget. And we know that there's a deficit. There's so much uncertainty. And we do know that there's a lot of school districts that are starting to lay off their staff. So it's so essential to get this thing rolling. It's so essential. So I'd like to share with you Fish and Wildlife Festival, Saturday, June 8th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Prado Regional Park. So this is a great experience, going fishing with your children and so forth. The Art Festival, it was so, how many of you went to the Art Festival? This was so beautiful. I just love this stuff. There was two paintings. One was a flag, and one was like what was that one? The piece of meat, but it was actually a human body that on a like a piece of steak. Like, you're getting it at a market, but it was an image of a body. It was so creative. So I just love this. I really look forward to this. And then my daughter, she's a second stringer for jazz concert for the tournament at Chino Hills they went to, and they came second place. So that's really good. That's really good. So other than that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Superintendent Dr. Enfield.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw. Mr. Monroe, I want to thank you for the comments, especially the one regarding our district. This is a absolutely wonderful district. As a superintendent, I couldn't be more proud of it. Tonight we sit in Woodcrest. This is the newest we received California's Distinguished School just, I think last week it was announced. And so again, it's a testament to the work that goes on in our district. The last couple of weeks I've been at several schools, and when I visit the classrooms, that to me is the most important part. When I walk into the classrooms and I see what our teachers do in those classrooms, and I've been in a few districts, I have a lot of family members that have been in education, but the teaching that goes on in our classroom is absolutely top-notch. I would not hesitate if I had my kids are grown up, but if I had kids, I would not hesitate putting them in any of those classrooms. The work that the teachers do, the work that staff does across our district is phenomenal, and I'm extremely, extremely impressed with what goes on day in and day out in our school district. And again, I want to thank all of the staff for the work that they do here for our students. They're here for the students, and they do a great job. Again, I'm extremely proud of that. I know there are negotiations going on, and like Mr. Bridge, as a teacher, I sat in on the other side, and we took a strike vote too, so I know the process that goes through. So this isn't something that just happens in our district, but it's something that you don't want to have happen. And what needs to happen is we all need to get together, as Mr. Bridge points out, come together and at the table and get a deal. I believe that both sides, we will get a deal. We always do get a deal done, and I'm confident that that will happen. The association reached out to us and asked that if we would come back to the table, and I talked to a couple of members from ACT today. We will be coming to the table before we meet with the mediator, and I'm hoping that we'll get something done before we even have to get to mediation. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. I know I always get to go last, but a lot of everything that I want to say has been said, but I do want to say, Mr. Gregg, Dr. Flores, Mrs. Leah, Dr. Park, Ms. Sandra. As a parent, obviously I trusted my two kids with you, under your care, under our superintendent's care, from day one. For a little brief time, I took them out when I knew that, I didn't like what was going on during the shutdown. But because when I became a board member and I saw what you guys were doing behind the scenes, I trusted you with my own children. And I see what your guys' hard work is, and I want to say thank you. I know, some of us as parents and, district admin may have not started off in the right start as a parent, but I'm telling you, when I start to learn more about what you guys do and I see it, and I see the fruition in the classroom, I love you guys because you love our children, and Dr. Enfield as well. And our security and our police officers, thank you. I don't want to make your job harder, but I appreciate you guys taking on the task tonight, and I'm sorry you had to endure tonight. But I also want to say, Mr. Bridge, when you ask those questions, does it have to do with academics, this, that, the other? Yes, it does. Parents do have to do with that. Parent involvement does, and I'm sorry, I love you, and I never go after when you told me that you demolished me or whatever you want to say on your comments, but I appreciate us being board members together, but parents play a vital part, but so do teachers, and so do you as a teacher, and when you were. I've always respected teachers, and I love teachers. I do not love the behavior that was here tonight. I do not love the fact that our staff has been so fair, and they've endured so much with trying to find a fair deal, and there's so much that we cannot say because we get PERB violations, but I do want to say this. Negotiations is kind of simple. I didn't go to college, and I'm learning more as I go, but somebody comes high, somebody goes low, somebody goes next, somebody goes this. If you have somebody come high, somebody go low, who's next? And if you don't go next, you cannot go and tell everybody that's what the district wants to give you, and that's what's happening, and that breaks my heart for our teachers. That should never happen, and I'm sorry if I get us in trouble for saying that, but they've endured a lot of harassment. I've seen people go after your guys' income. You deserve every penny. You work your hardest. Your income, if I compare your guys' income as admin to other districts, you're lower. We are in the top, like the bottom 5 of paying, but we're also in the bottom 5 of funding. Guys, make it make sense. It doesn't take a college degree. You've all heard me not having a college degree to learn and dig and find out how budgets work. It's really actually kind of simple. Now, if we want to talk about equity, why don't we go to Sacramento and tell them their funding model for schools is not equitable to all students? Because here in Chino Valley, we don't get the same funding for our students as somebody else in another district. Why is our students not as important? So let's pretend that, you know, in a perfect world, we got the perfect pay, then we would have paid our teachers the same amount. Look, you see districts settling for nothing, 2%, 3.75, 4.75. I talked to board members all across California. We didn't even get a fair chance to say what we wanted to give our district. But yet now, somehow, Sonja Shaw, who came in for 1 year, I'm responsible for decades of us being the lowest paid district. Make it make sense. I have board members that have a majority. There's 5 of us. I don't have any more power than Mr. Cruz, Mr. Na, Mr. Monroe, and Mr. Bridge. I love them all. We actually have a great time. If you guys saw closed session, I wish we can show you inside closed session. I wish you can see when me and Mr. Bridge go to a thing, or me and Mr. Monroe go to an event, or me and Mr. Cruz go to this, or Dr. Enfield and I, the joy in his eyes when we go into classrooms and he sees the fruition of the hard work of his staff and our teachers. Our teachers are amazing. During the shutdown, who was with the teachers protecting them? It wasn't their union. Sorry, I will say that. It was the parents. That was the truth. That was the honest to God truth. Me as a board member, I still want to pay our teachers as much as we can give them without being reckless. That is the truth. Ask Dr. Enfield. I've always said, how can we catch up? Well, you have to do the X, Y, Z, but we're not going to because of this, that, the other, the funding. I learned these things. So that's what breaks my heart when people do the misinformation. But I also want to say, let's remember, we have PERV violations on almost every notification that we brought through. We should not have to have parental notification. That's actually insane to me that we have to have that, and we have to put that in place to make sure parents are notified of everything in their child's life when they go to school. Your rights, your constitutional rights as a parent do not end when you drop your kids off at school. I will fight for that. I will fight for that. I will take the slings and arrows. I will get flipped off. I will be called every name in the book if it means one child is saved. And to me, parents play a vital role. And I've said it over and over, like a speaker said tonight. If that child is not safe in that home, why is us as adults allowing them back into an unsafe home? Make it make sense again. It's common sense, guys. It doesn't take a genius, and it obviously doesn't take a college degree to figure this out. Now, I will say this in my defense, because I do not want any child to ever feel they don't equate to something because they did not go to college, okay? Some of us are not college bound. I had a very awful childhood, as I know as many kids in, the world have. I'm not saying pity me, but what I wanted to do when I grow up was be a mother, because my mother was not there. She did heroin. She ended up dying. My sister swallowed drugs. My goal was to be a mother. You don't take a college course to be a mother. I sacrificed to be a mother. I cleaned people's toilets. I did everything I could. I wanted to make sure mothers are healthy. I don't want to cry, but I see some of some of the beautiful mothers. When I decided I wanted to be able to provide for an income for my family and still be a full-time mom, what was my goal? It was to make sure mothers were healthy to do the job. That's it. So kids, if you don't go to college, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you have a purpose. You don't need a college degree to do everything. And the people that went to college, our doctors, are amazing people that are educated and do everything possible. I respect, I love, and I honor you. And our police officers, a lot of them didn't go to college either, but they do the most important job in keeping us safe. So I love everybody who goes to college. I love everybody that doesn't. And kids, trust me, you don't have to be college bound to be important. You don't have to be college bound to care and serve your community. Because look, there's, I'll go back to the PERB violations that we received from the union. It was, I'm embarrassed because I don't even want to say the teachers, but yet the teachers are saying they are the union, which I get, okay, but they don't represent all of the teachers. The parental notification, we got a violation. Resisting keeping sexual explicit materials out of the classroom, we got a violation. Objecting to politically charged classrooms and people's personal agenda and decorations in the classroom, we got a violation. When will it stop? I wouldn't want to be a teacher associated with that, and I know some of our teachers in this very room cringe when they think they're associated with that behavior, because that's not the way it should be. Chino Valley is amazing. I was born, I was raised here, I'm raising my children here. You know how many opportunities I've had to leave this state, but this state is important. This state is absolutely important. Our kids are important. Our families are important. And I love this. I love the fact that Chino has been linked to so many beautiful parents around California to protect our kids. If you didn't come after our kids and family, we would have never, ever been here. Never, ever. And I did make this my full-time job. And I don't know, transparency, you guys, we get an $800-something stipend a month. Take away taxes. I'm not complaining. I didn't sign up for this for the money. By the time I drive everywhere, I don't make anything. And I'm okay with that because I know that I'm here for a purpose. Dr. Enfield and I want to go into classrooms. I wanted to see what he wanted the board to support. I made it a priority. We go to site visits. Coming from the first year being in the school board to this one and seeing how the fruition of all the stuff they're implementing is absolutely beautiful. This week we went to Glenmead, Hidden Trails, Newman, Wickman. We went to the art festival, Cruz and I. That's one of our favorite things to do together because I don't know if you guys know, a lot of us board members split and conquer and make sure that we're there and we represent the school district, you know, during those times because we can't be everywhere. Step it up. I'm so grateful that the majority of our school board members were able to go on a Saturday morning and give up their hours away from their family to support our children. And it was a beautiful thing, and they asked me to speak, and I took that as an honor. It was amazing to be with sixth graders because I was able to share a story of when I was a sixth grader going into junior high and how it could be scary, but also give them the knowledge and tools that they can do this, and it's going to be fun and exciting. Read Across America. I was going to call you doctor. Sorry, Mr. Bridge. Mr. Bridge and I went to Hidden Trails. That was actually really fun. It's, you know, an awesome school over there. The kids dressed up as Dr. Seuss and escorted us to classrooms, and it was great. Went to Cattle. I love going to Cattle, and one of my favorite teachers is over there. I know I'm not supposed to have favorite teachers. But with that said, I also want to congratulate you, Dr. Freed. You were my kid's first principal. I'm in here at Chino Valley at Rhodes, and you've always been kind and sweet. And I'm so glad that, you know, you were able to move up in your career where you wanted to be, and there's a good fit, and you're doing great for our students. And it was hard to lose you as a principal, but it was great to gain you in something that you affected all schools. So thank you for your hard work. Dr. Park, thank you for everything that you do. I know you get slings and arrows lately too, but I want to tell you that we appreciate your knowledge, your expertise, your sternness. Sometimes it takes that in a job, and I appreciate that from one woman to another. You've been doing an amazing job, and I'm glad that we're in this position today to be able to, you know, vote on that as a board and make sure that you have that opportunity here too. Couldn't imagine any of you guys leaving. That would suck. Leah, with you possibly retiring, that's hard. I don't want to even admit that's going to happen soon. Anyways, I don't know if I was supposed to say that. Sorry, I got excited. Okay. I know, guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes I get a little too excited, but anyways, I want to say, I know they say defund me, recall me. Okay, I was voted in by the community, so the same community that I was voted in, you're just going to force them to make another vote and you're going to waste our district funds. That's cool. If you want to do that, stop threatening me and bring me the paperwork and let's get it on. Because here's what I do challenge them to do. Unlike other districts where they did secrets and they lied, tell me where your signature booths is. I'll stand there, you stand there, and we'll have a conversation with the public and we'll let them make an informed decision. That is my promise to you. I will be there. You tell me where and when. And if the community doesn't want me here, then by all means, I surrender, because there is no reason why I would want to be doing what I do if I didn't have the community behind me. But I know in my heart from walking, knocking, and seeing your faces, I have the community and I have California behind me. So I love you. I appreciate you guys. I will continue to fight for you as long as I'm here. And if I'm not here, God, Jesus will put me somewhere else because he knows that my heart is to serve him. So with that said, I now want to adjourn the regular Board of Education meeting at, sorry, the clock's not there, 8:32.